first memorable experience of being profiled by police happened when I was in the 9th grade. I was a freshman in high school running cross-country practice. I was in this very affluent, very white neighborhood, suburb of Milwaukee, when a cop stopped me and he said, "Why are you running so fast?" I first looked at my outfit as my answer, but then I told him I'm running cross-country practice. And he said, "Likely story." Right? He wanted my name, he wanted my information, and he ran it in his system. I learned from that experience that people are gonna look at me and they're gonna think certain things. Had I not had the access to resources, the access to education that I've had throughout my entire life, I very well could be somebody that's caught up in this criminal legal system.
This work is deeply personal for me because of the impact that the system has had in my personal life and in my immediate family. I have a brother who struggled with substance use disorder for many years and who predictably ended up involved in the criminal justice system. And then on the other end of the spectrum, I have a father who was the victim of a horrific robbery. For me personally, I recognize that the system is not serving not just those who are accused and brought into it, but victims who've suffered harm and who need something better than what we offer.
I had my own experience with the justice system and very quickly learned that for 19 years of my life, I'd been walking around in a cloak of white privilege that had shielded me from racial terrorism and racial justice issues in this country. And once I found out, I couldn't look back.
I thought the biggest way for me to have impact was to do direct service, and that's why I became a public defender. That's certainly one incredibly important way to give back, but to actually change the structures, the systems, the policies that crush people is another incredibly important way. And I felt this calling to take the experience that I'd had from representing people, from understanding how these systems work, to be able to take that and to sort of bring it up, to the 10,000-foot level of how do we change the laws, the policies, the systems themselves.
I love this institution down to my bones. I understood that Vera had to evolve the way the world in which we were working had to evolve. The Vera of today produces two main things. The first is breakthrough ideas that we need to dramatically transform our system of justice, and the second thing is solutions.
We took the best of what we know from youth justice practices in the US and some lessons learned from doing conditions work, and the best of what we know from the international best practices, and partnered with Connecticut and created the TRUE unit.
My first time walking to the TRUE program, I came in with about a group of 12. And when we walked in as a whole. So when we walked in together, we were immediately greeted by mentors. Mentees came up to us and were asking to help carry our stuff upstairs to our cell. Staff member allowed us to pick who we wanted to house with, what cells we wanted to go to. That's something that's not allowed in the general population. So when I went there, I kind of was side-eyeing everything, like, is this a trick or is this for real? Weeks into being there, it was really days into being there, I found out it was the real deal.
While the TRUE unit is exceptional, it's not the exception. We are working with jurisdictions across the country to advance a movement, and there's a groundswell of support for that movement.
We believe that all immigrants facing deportation have the right to a fair day in court. When we started SAFE last year, we knew that there was a critical need among our government partners to do something to protect their immigrant communities. We launched SAFE together and have grown it in the past year. And we've really helped to build the national movement, not just among government partners, but also among advocates and legal services providers. We see a lot of opportunities and hunger to grow this movement further nationally.
We are in this incredible moment of bipartisan criminal justice reform, and something that just even 10 years ago, people would not have imagined that we would be at this place where individuals of all political stripes of both sides of the aisle are really thinking about how do we create this better system that gives people a real chance to succeed. And a big part of that is the importance of having post-secondary education in prison. And we're in the throes of working to get the ban on Pell Grants removed.
Me graduating, it gives me an opportunity to, get out there in the world and provide for my family. Words, there's really not an adjective to properly describe how I feel with my family being here with me, as well as this accomplishment that I made today.
One of the most remarkable things over the 10 years that I have served as chair is to see how the issues that Vera cares about have come forward in public life and public debate. Criminal justice reform is now a centerpiece of discussion about civil rights. Our fight against mass incarceration is something that now commands public attention. You read about it, you see it in the press. That's really a remarkable change in our country.
In this moment, we have this massive system that requires change. And when the people who run these systems feel that pressure, their incentives shift. They know they have to deliver something different. They have to deliver justice and fairness in a way that they had never been called upon to do before. And when they get that call, they call Vera. That's who they ask for help.